Hey there, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing with these word problems. I've got a new document camera here in my office, so we're going to focus that and see how that works. It's a little bit light, but this is the worksheet that I posted for the online class, and also we did it in the hybrid class. So we went through some hints in the hybrid class. We started off, we worked in groups. So I want to give those same hints to the online students as well. And I did post a full key, but I want to just explain a little bit about that. I'm going to just go ahead and switch to just the screen only. So here, make sure you're always reading the directions and read through the problem first. Answer clearly in a sentence. And along the way, you should write out your work, your steps, like your equation, your declare your unknowns, all those things that are here. So strategize first, then declare your unknown or unknowns. In this case, first one we have a few. Write an equation with the variables, and then you're going to plug in what you know and go ahead and solve. Make sure you show all your steps. You can streamline. You don't have to be showing every iota of algebra, but you're going to show at least some steps, so in case you need partial credit on a test. And then answer in a sentence with proper units. Like you want to make sure you're for this first one, it's about angles, so you're going to want to write about degrees. So here we have an isosceles triangle, and what do we know about isosceles triangles? We know that they have two equal angles, and then one that will be larger but not the same. So we're going to call the equal angles, we're going to call those x, and in here we have isosceles triangle. The measure of the large angle is 20 more than twice the measure of the small angles. Find the measures of all three angles. So we're going to let x equal what we know least about, the degrees. You can abbreviate if you want to, of smaller angles. I'm just going to put the small angles. And then in relation to that, we want to let 2x, twice the small, plus 20 more, equals the large angle. And then we would have all angles adding up. So we'd have angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3, small, small, large, equaling 180 degrees. So each small angle we're calling x, and the large angle we're calling 2x plus 20. We've translated that. And then from there you can go ahead and solve. I'm going to leave that for you to do and check the key, but I just wanted to make sure you got started. You could get started. Now this next one, what price should a home be listed at if the seller wants to receive $250,000 from the sale and the realtor commission is 7%? It's real tempting. I notice some students want to just take that 7% times the 250, call it that, and subtract that somehow. But we want to know what the initial list price is. So that's our unknown. So we're going to let x equal list price. And then so we would have x, the list price, minus the commission, and the commission is 0.07 x, 7% of the list price. That all equals $250,000. And I think from there you can go ahead and solve. One thing to keep in mind that might be helpful anytime you want to do this is put the understood one in as the coefficient. So then you're going to have 1x minus 0.07x would be 0.93x equals 250,000. You could have actually kind of jumped here if you wanted to. And then you would go ahead and finish. And you can look at the key to see how that works. I'm going to do one more page here. So now this one, problem 3, on the back, and you could pause the video and work on those other two, and then come back if you're stuck on this one. But Susan is creating a scrapbook. She has an online service. Scrapbooks cost $30 for 30 pages. And then after that, they're going to charge you a little extra. So $1.75 for each page after that. So the minimum, it seems like you have to have at least the $30 there. So you're going to have your $30 plus your $1.75 per page. And we are looking at the X being how many pages, over and above, okay, what the initial 30. So I should write that here. Number of pages after 30. So you have your 30 that you start with plus the $1.75 times X equals $65 is what she has to spend altogether. So once you figure this answer out for X, that's not the final thing. You have to then add that to your 30 because you want to know how much for the total scrap. So I'll leave that for you to finish. Problem 4 is real tricky. We'll do a lot more with this in chapter 2. So this week we're going to be focusing on the skills. So it's kind of a good intro to what you're going to do with functions. You may have had this, well, you should have had this in a previous algebra course. We teach it in Math 97. But I thought it was a little bit, maybe a little rusty. So it's kind of challenging to start with. And there could be an easier way to go about it. I'm going to write it as an equation of a line using point slope form. So we have cars in the U.S. are being driven longer. In 2005, the average age of a U.S. auto is 9 years. Between 1990 and 2005, this average age in operation had increased by 0.17 per year. If this trend continues, by which year will automobiles in the U.S. have an average of 10.7 years? And I will give you a hint that this was written a few years ago. Our book is a little older. So if we look at 1990 being the initial year, we can say that let X equal number of years. The number of years. Sometimes I use this hashtag symbol to say number, quickly. After 1990, okay, we're going to let Y equal the average age that corresponds with the X we're concerned with. Of the U.S. auto. So we can figure out 2 points from this. We can say in 1990, can look at the point for that. Oops. So we're going to have, that would be 0. And I don't know. That's going to be my y-intercept. So it's not so easy because we don't have the y-intercept to start. But we have the 2005. And we have 9 years. And that would be, if we subtract, we're just going to go ahead and figure out how many years that is. If we go ahead and subtract. So when we do that, hopefully you got 15 for that. Okay, so we have this point slope form, and we're going to fill in what we know. So this is x sub 1, y sub 1, and we also know the slope. So we should write that here, that the slope is this 0.17 per year. So you're going to just go ahead and fill in all that information, simplify, and I'll leave that for you to do. And you can check the key, see if you came out with the right answer. And this was fine. Okay, don't forget to distribute. And then just go ahead and simplify down. That's it for this one.